We're duck hunting in Idaho. We're on a road trip, me and my dad, my brothers, and some of our friends. We're at a little dive. They called it a suite, but it was just a room with a bunch of cots. We had our weapons in the room with us, and we're sleeping. About 3 o'clock in the morning, we hear the doorknob jingling. So my dad, who's closest to the door, he grabs his weapon, leans up in the bed. He's got his foot-long beard, his favorite gun, and he's in his tighty whities. A guy opens the door, and my dad says 2 words: "Wrong room." That fella turned into a crawfish. He put his head down in submission, and he backed up for 300 yards through the parking lot. My dad said, "Come look at this guy." So my point is, don't knock the beard till you try. Somebody figured out that the time an average man spends shaving throughout his lifespan is 5 months. That's almost 2 duck seasons. If you combine that with the time that you waste mowing your grass, when my dad told me, "Look, what are you doing? The frost will get it." And he was right. Look at the time we're saving. The bottom line is, it's the heart of the man, or a woman for that matter. And look, whiskers on women, as my dad says, it's a bummer. But it's not a deal breaker. It's the heart of the man that matters. The beard is the exclamation point. Wear it well.
I want to thank all you guys for watching the show. I want to thank you for getting on and tweeting and getting on Facebook and talking about the show. The folks down in Los Angeles and New York are paying a lot of attention to what exactly is happening, and we just think that a show with a positive outlook, with families that stay together, and we think that would work, and guess what? You voted, and it is.
All right, who's ready for a crash course duck calling lesson? My dad had an idea in 1972. I was 3 years old. He said, "You know, I'm going to build a duck call that sounds like actual live ducks." Duh. Here was the problem. If you went to the World Duck Calling Championship, this is what you would hear. I've never heard a duck do that in my life. God does that, usually large men, and they feel pretty good about it until the next guy stands up there, and then he does it. This goes on all day until they either pass out or the last man standing, they crown the world's greatest duck caller. So my dad said, "You know what? My judges have wings. I'm going to do what ducks do." And what an actual mallard hen does is she'll do 3 things. She'll do a feed call, to do a quack. She'll do a greeting call. That's all she does. And the old Drake, he sits over there, and for years, he never said a word. My dad invented this call because some people couldn't figure out how to blow a hen call. And all you do to operate this is say ah in a low tone. What you do is when you see ducks, you got your decoys out, and you're in the right spot, you've scouted, you're camouflaged, because ducks are wild, and you make sounds that they make. And lo and behold, these ducks are convinced that your setup is real, and they come floating in. And the goal of what we do is putting those ducks on the grill. People said that our show wouldn't work because they said, you know, I don't know if people are ready for people to gather around and eat the animals that they shoot. Well, I guess they didn't know about all of us, huh? And thank you for not thinking that it's weird that a group of people gather around as a family and pray to an actual God and thank Him for the blessings that He provides. Humans are not animals. We're humans. I believe God put us in charge of the animal kingdom. And look, we don't eat all the animals. We have pets. I like to watch different animals. But every year during hunting season, I use my God-given right to exercise being the top of the food chain. And I enjoy it. I know I look like a preacher, and Willie looks like one, but actually we're not. We're believers. And I tell you that to say this. We believe the Bible to be true. We don't think that the spiritual qualities that are represented in the Bible are necessarily a bad thing. And I want to quote something to you, and it's a reason we hunt and feel good about it. In Genesis chapter 9, right after the flood, y'all heard that story, Noah and the animals? God Almighty told Noah, He said, from now on, the fear and dread of you will fall upon all the beasts of the earth, the birds of the air, the crawlers of the ground, and the fish of the sea. They are given into your hands. Everything that lives and moves will be food for you. And that imaginary gasp from the animal world, just as I gave you the green plants, I now give you everything. So some of you may be slow, or you never read the Bible, so I'm going to break this down for you. God Almighty told Noah and his family, anything that walks, crawls, flies, or swims, you can kill it and grill it. So people tell me, well, I can't believe you shoot a bird and put it on the grill. I say, look, I got orders from headquarters. If you got a problem with it, talk to him. If we do,